Hey guys, it's Aaron. So I will say this in advance. If you don't want spoilers, don't watch this live stream. If you want to see spoilers, stay. So anyway, let's get to Wonder Woman. 1984. Opening scene talks about young Diana going to like an Olympics, I guess you might say. And she was going through a challenging course. And as a result, as she started a challenge, she was going well. She was in the lead, but then she had an accident where she lost control of her horse. But basically, she crashed and fell off her horse, and then she tried to take a shortcut, which is cheating, and she lost. And as a result, she had to get taught a hard lesson about being truthful, because the truth can set you free. Hey, Anti-Modern, Oxway. So basically, to kind of keep this going, decades pass, and this was after the war. I think it was World War One. It was World War One because basically, Abe, I'll go to sleep when I get this review in. Basically, I will be real. I would say continue on here. After we go decades later, we see her Wonder Woman fighting crime in Washington D.C. in 1984. So as a result, she is still basically being Wonder Woman and all that. But the one thing that basically happened is she had that one weakness, Steve Trevor. She misses him, but how he gave his life. So basically, what ended up happening was she goes into. All right, Chase, it's good to see you again, Damien. I'll tell you more. Chase, hey there. Anti-Monitor, second favorite, DCU. Oh, DCU, okay. So anyway, we find out we go into Wonder Woman going through life, and basically she still misses Steve Trevor, even has artifacts of him, pictures and all that. And then we get to Barbara, who was basically this geeky / introverted woman, lacked a little social skills, a little. She didn't exactly felt welcome. But then, of course, she meets Diana. Barbara kind of wishes she was like Diana. And then of course, we find out early in the scene there's a bank heist. Well, technically, Damien, he would be, but let me continue on real quick. So basically, we find out there was a bank heist early in the beginning that was set up to get some artifacts that were in the black market. And what ended up happening was that what happened was the artifacts came in. There was this crystal that was found that if you read the Latin into it, you make a wish. But in doing so, you'll find out that there's something that you have to give. Thence the term, careful what you wish for. So now, Diana looks at the crystal after she reads it, then she closes it. And as, her hair went. All right, that's cool, Chase. Yeah, in a way, Knoxway, good point. It does feel like a kryptonite. Wishing comes with a price. Yeah. So basically, her hair whips. We know what she wished for. She wished for Steve Trevor. A big character flaw, in my opinion, because it makes it seem like Wonder Woman's biggest weakness was Steve Trevor, which in my defense, they should never kill Steve Trevor in the first Wonder Woman movie. Can we agree? So anyway, to continue on, and hello, Fleming the Ultimate Grave Taker. And Steve, he was mostly in his late 20s, so if it was World War One, we have to fast forward like almost 70 years later. So anyway, to continue on, after you made a wish and another guy randomly touched and wished for more coffee, and just out of the blue, he gets coffee. So anyway, Barbara, who actually found it, it was some sort of crystal, whatever as I said. But we find out later that Barbara is a very, very nice woman that cared for the homeless. But then one guy who tried to take advantage of her, and guess who saves the day? Diana. It's like, here's Diana, Kong. And then what ends up happening, Diana ends up probably going to go protecting Barbara. Barbara ends up going back, and then she looks at that crystal and makes a wish she was basically what made a wish she would be like Diana. And then, of course, that's when we find out early on, there's a guy by the name of Maxwell Lord, acted by Pedro Pascal, who sound familiar to you guys? And who is also still wanting to be around the Smithsonian, which is where Diana and Barbara both worked. Okay, Antimatter, no offense, but that kind of spoiled it a little bit. I was going to get to that. Sorry. Mandalore. Okay, very funny. So anyway, sorry about that. That was just a Batman card I got. So anyway, to kind of continue on, before I was kind of saw spoiler alert. Barbara made the wish, and Anna goes back home. And then, of course, we go back to Smithsonian, which is where they worked at, to work with the articles because they were working for the FBI. And the next thing we know, this guy comes in, and Barbara is enticed because she was getting attention. It's like she feels beautiful and amazing. Can't say the other word because YouTube be like, demonetized. So to continue on, Maxwell Lord notices Barbara, but then notices the crystal. He had an idea how to use that crystal. And to make something interesting, things begin to click in. Maxwell Mary tells her it's this party, and basically Diana originally said no, and basically she changed her mind when she wanted to know about the crystal. And then when she gets there, Barbara gets enticed by Maxwell, who takes the crystal while in office and smooching up to Barbara. And then Diana, who Damien, I will get to that, why I believe it shouldn't have got poor. So as we continue on at the party, though, Diana sees this two guys. One guy worked for Washington, another guy. At first, it was a young, handsome guy that she didn't know who it was until she found out that guy was Steve Trevor. Her wish came true. And then they end up walking, and she showed him around. Then she went to his apartment, and yeah. Let's just say things rules went out the window. Woo! All right, I'll stop. But let's just say, though, Steve's not getting used to 1984 and all that. So kind of fast forward a little bit because there was a scene in there I was like, hey, okay. Yeah, but to kind of make something clear, guys, I don't want to drag this review, so let me continue on. So after that, Barbara Beers knows her powers. She has to go into the weightlifting room. Diana wants to know about that crystal. Little does she know the crystal was stolen by Maxwell. Maxwell asked, make her wish was to become the crystal, and basically everything goes to heal. Then he begins to take advantage of people by making them make wishes, and he gives it to them, but they have to give something up. So as we continue on, Diana finds out that he went to Cairo, and then she and Steve end up going on a plane, which a little dramatic scene. That's how we get the invisible plane. And yeah, they go to Cairo. They find where he's at, and we find out. And Maxwell tricked the king of Cairo, and things went even more downhill. The world begins to go into turmoil, and then there was a fight between the Maxwell and the new guards. And to make things worse, Maxwell says that he is the crystal, meaning when he made that wish, the crystal turned into sand and it went inside of him. And to make it worse for them, that means the only way they could defeat the crystal is if they not only renounce they had to renounce the actual wish they made. And they would find out through the Mayans when there was an evil Mayan god that had a crystal to use the wish, but in doing a wish, they had to give something. And based on the fight in Cairo, they find out Diana's powers were getting weaker. And Barbara, Steve, and Diana go to this Mayan guy who showed them the history. And to make it worse, they didn't want to give up their wishes because Barbara felt like she was accepted. So by making herself feel accepted, she didn't want to let go. And then Barbara disappears because she didn't want to give it up. And to make things even worse, they had to find out that Maxwell's going to the White House to make the wishes and all that. People make a wish, he takes something from them. But when he makes those wishes, part of him begins to deteriorate. And then we find out, while they were trying to confront him and stop him, boom! Barbara shows up. And this is when we find out the nemesis of Wonder Woman is Cheetah, and Barbara ends up becoming Cheetah. So what happens next? Diana had to force to give up her wish on Steve and renounced it. So she ends up having to find the guy who uncovered a United States project to get every particle on the air so that he could get all the TVs in the world and convince them to make wishes. But in doing so, they had to fight. Everyone had to pay a price. So in the end of that scenario, to kind of fast forward a little bit, we find out Maxwell had a hard time with a relationship with his son. We end up finding out that seeing Barbara have a second wish theory, which is a plot hole because you're only supposed to have one wish. And then the actual cheetah shows up because she wanted to be a cheetah. And finally, when things were getting out of control, the guy thought about his son, Maxwell, and finally, after Wonder Woman got into this new armor and a goddess, Akasa, I forgot her name, was in, which is acted by the original Wonder Woman herself. Oh, spoiler alert. I know, I said spoilers. And we ended up, and after renouncing all the wishes and all that, everything ended up going better despite the torment of the world. So basically to make this all make this all make it short. Linda Carter was in the movie, by the way. Basically, Wonder Woman ends up saving the day once again. But as for Cheetah, a wasted character. And I will, unfortunately, though, we only get a chance to see Cheetah once. So, what ended up happening, guys? Wonder Woman does save the day. World goes back somewhat to normal. And we learned that you gotta be careful what you wish for, and you gotta be true to yourself. So you heard my review. You heard the spoilers. Sorry you had to find it. But I will give my review. 7 out of 10. I'll tell you why. Before you guys go and throw in dislikes or comment, I need to explain why. Barbara was a wasted character in the actual film. Cheetah was like short-lived. They should have made Cheetah something else. And Diana's weakness of Steve was a covered point that basically was hardly cored into her, which that's kind of weak. That she would hold on to someone for decades, and don't move on. And lastly, the love scene. Sorry, YouTube. The love scene between her and Steve was not necessary. Damien, I don't think the pandemic has anything to do with the movie, but rather had to do with the writing. So, in other words, the movie was fine. I don't hate it, but it did have hate because of a poor writing. So that is a 7 out of 10 by me, and I hope you guys, maybe you haven't watched it. So if you haven't watched it, do not watch this review and wait till you actually see it. And if you guys enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Hopefully it will be if I direct Disney Star Wars Episode 9, because it's going to get big. Anyway, God bless. You rock. Don't forget it.